Hello students, let us start with urea cycle. Urea cycle is the process of conversion of highly toxic ammonia into urea. Urea is less toxic and water soluble product, and hence it is easily excreted in the urine. This urea cycle takes place in liver, and in liver the cells are called as hepatocytes. The urea cycle operates partly in mitochondria and partly in cytosol. Scientists Krebs and Hensley have described urea cycle first. It is also called as ornithine cycle. So, what are requirements of urea cycle? The requirements are, for 1 mole of urea to be synthesized, carbon dioxide is required, which is obtained from cellular respiration. Then ammonium ion is required, 3 mole of ATP is required, 5 different enzymes are required, 5 different enzymes are required, and 6 amino acids are required. The 5 enzymes required are carbamoyl phosphate synthase 1, ornithyl transcarbamylase, argininosuccinate synthase, argininosuccinate lyase, and last one is arginase. Of the 6 amino acid required are ornithine, citrulline, argininosuccinate, and arginine. These 4 amino acids are for transfer of atom. Then aspartate is required, which donate second amino group of urea. And last one is N-acetyl glutamate. So N-acetyl glutamate is activator of CPS1. The first 2 steps of urea cycle takes place in mitochondria. This is mitochondria, and rest 3 steps are occur in cytosol. The first step is condensation of carbon dioxide and ammonium ion in presence of carbamoyl phosphate synthase 1 to produce carbamoyl phosphate. This reaction requires 2 molecules of ATP. And magnesium ions. The activator is N-acetyl glutamine, N-acetyl glutamate. So this is irreversible reaction, and this is a rate limiting reaction in urea synthesis. Out of the 2 ATP molecule, one acts as a phosphate donor, whereas other gives energy to drive the reaction. And N-acetyl glutamate is a allosteric activator of carbamoyl phosphate synthase 1, and it increases affinity of carbamoyl phosphate synthase 1 towards ATP. So when we heard carbamoyl phosphate synthase 1, the question arises, what is carbamoyl phosphate synthase 2? The carbamoyl phosphate synthase 1 is a mitochondrial enzyme, whereas carbamoyl phosphate synthase 2 is a cytosomal enzyme. CPS1 is involved in urea cycle, whereas CPS2 is involved in pyrimidine synthesis. Nitrogen donor is ammonium ion in case of CPS1, whereas it is glutamine act as a nitrogen donor in CPS2. Allosteric activator required is N-acetyl glutamate in case of CPS1, whereas CPS2 does not require any activator. These are the differences between CPS1 and CPS2. So, this is the step 1 of urea cycle. Step 2 involves transfer of this carbamoyl phosphate to ornithine with release of inorganic phosphorus, inorganic phosphate. So, the enzyme is ornithine transcarbamylase. This enzyme condenses carbamoyl phosphate with ornithine to form citrulline. Citrulline synthesized in the mitochondria and then it is transferred to cytoplasm. There is transport system for ornithine and citrulline. For every molecule of ornithine entered into the mitochondria, one molecule of citrulline comes out of mitochondria. So, now this citrulline, in presence of argininosuccinate synthase, forms argininosuccinate with condensation with aspartate. This is also an energy requiring process, and in this reaction, ATP molecule is converted to AMP and PPI. Mg2 plus is required here. Now this arginosuccinate is acted upon by argininosuccinate lyase. Argininosuccinate lyase to liberate fumarate and arginine. This is the only reversible reaction of urea cycle. The fumarate so released can enter into TCA cycle. The arginine is immediate precursor of urea. These steps can take place in various tissues in various cells, but the last step, that is conversion of arginine to release urea and ornithine acted upon by arginase, takes place only in hepatocyte. This arginase enzyme is present only in hepatocytes, so urea cycle takes place only in liver. Ornithine so formed in the cytosol enter with the help of transport system into mitochondria. And this ornithine regenerated enters into urea cycle again. The ornithine has the same role that of oxaloacetate in citric acid cycle. So these are about the various steps of urea cycle. So now coming to energetics and overall reaction of urea cycle. So carbon dioxide plus ammonium ion plus aspartate and 3 ATP molecule. These are converted to urea plus fumarate plus 2 ADP plus 1 AMP plus 4 inorganic phosphate. So, though 3 ATP molecules are involved, one is converted into AMP. So, overall 4 high energy phosphate groups are required for this urea cycle. Now let us see how this urea cycle is related with TCA cycle or Krebs cycle. This cycle is also given by Krebs and Hensley, and TCA cycle is given by the same scientist Krebs. Now this fumarate is acted upon by fumarase to convert it into malate. Malate is acted upon by malate dehydrogenase to form oxaloacetate. Malate dehydrogenase lead to reduction of NAD to NADH plus H plus. And this oxaloacetate can synthesize aspartate with the help of glutamate. This part of the reaction is called as argininosuccinate aspartate shunt. These reactions are taking place in the cytosol. This is cytosolic fumarase and this is cytosolic malate dehydrogenase. With this shunt, there is formation of NADH and H plus. So 4 ATPs were required for this urea cycle, and now as we know, NADH and H plus will synthesize 2.5 ATP. So there is net requirement of 1.5 ATP. In order to enter into TCA cycle, this malate is permeable to mitochondrial membrane, and malate enters into mitochondria, where it is acted upon by mitochondrial malate dehydrogenase to produce oxaloacetate. Malate dehydrogenase mitochondrial. Now this oxaloacetate can accept acetyl-CoA and form citrate to enter into TCA cycle, or this oxaloacetate can enter into gluconeogenesis. One more thing, When oxaloacetate is acted upon by transaminase AST, aspartate transaminase, glutamate is the amino group donor. So oxaloacetate has accepted glutamate amino group to become aspartate, and now aspartate has donated this amino group. So it is for sure that second amino group of urea is always given by glutamate. Second link of this is one link with fumarate, malate, oxaloacetate. This is a link with TCA cycle. Second link is that carbon dioxide is produced in the TCA cycle and here it is utilized. And third link is that ATPs are generated in TCA cycle whereas ATPs are utilized in urea cycle. Now coming to regulation of this urea cycle, there occur a long-term regulation and short-term regulation. The long-term regulation is by increasing the enzyme concentration or increasing the synthesis of enzymes of urea cycle. When person consumes high protein diet for prolonged period or there is prolonged starvation, there occur increase in concentration of all these enzymes of urea cycle, thereby urea cycle is operated at a higher rate. In case of short-term regulation, what happens? Short-term regulation is acted through N-acetyl glutamate. It is an allosteric activator of carbamoyl phosphate synthase 1. So, glutamate, N-acetyl glutamate. Synthesis of N-acetyl glutamate requires acetyl-CoA and coenzyme A is released in presence of synthase. Whenever person consumes high protein diet, there is increased concentration of these amino acids, increased concentration of glutamate. This glutamate, there is increased concentration of aspartate also. This aspartate act as a activator of N-acetyl glutamate synthase. Thereby, increased concentration of glutamate, increased concentration of aspartate increases the concentration of N-acetyl glutamate. This N-acetyl glutamate enhances capacity of CPS1 to attach to ATP and thereby it activates CPS1 and thereby it activates the first and the rate limiting reaction of urea cycle, thereby it increases urea synthesis. In case of starvation, there occur along with protein breakdown, there occur breakdown of fats. These fats undergo beta oxidation and they will form acetyl-CoA. So in prolonged starvation, increased acetyl-CoA due to increased beta oxidation of fats and increased glutamate, both the substrates are available at a higher rate and so the synthase will be activated to produce more N-acetyl glutamate, thereby activating CPS1. So this is short-term activation. Short-term regulation. Now coming to various disorders of urea cycle. The disorders the deficiency of all these enzymes, of all the 5 enzymes of urea cycle are known, and transporter problems are also known in case of urea cycle. So these conditions are called as hyperammonemia, as there is increase in ammonia level in blood. This is hyperammonia type 1. Then hyperammonemia type 2. Third condition is called as citrullinemia. Then fourth is argininosuccinate aciduria. Fifth one is hyperargininemia. All these conditions are autosomal recessive except hyperammonia type 1, type 2, hyperammonia type 2, which is X-linked. Then hyperammonia type 1 is due to deficiency of carbonyl phosphate synthase 1. Hyperammonemia type 2 is due to deficiency of ornithyl transcarbamylase. Citrullinemia is due to deficiency of argininosuccinate synthase. Argininosuccinate aciduria is due to deficiency of argininosuccinate lyase, and hyperargininemia is due to deficiency of arginase. So the primary symptom is increase in ammonia level. The ammonia level rises very high in first two conditions. Later on, the intermediate are formed, and thereby the urea is fixed somewhere in other molecules. So relatively, ammonia concentration is less and less in the we go onwards to the third, fourth or fifth enzyme of urea cycle. So the symptoms are increased ammonia in blood along with mental retardation in case of hyperammonia type 1. In case of hyperammonemia type 2, along with increased ammonia, there is increase in glutamine. In case of citrullinemia, along with hyperammonemia, there is increase in citrulline in blood level. In case of argininosuccinate aciduria, this along with high level of ammonia, there is increase in argininosuccinate in blood and urine, and in case of hyperargininemia, there is increased arginine secretion in urine. Its level is high in blood and CSF. Sixth is HHH syndrome, that is due to transporter mechanism, that ornithine permease is the protein that takes ornithine inside and citrulline outside. So there is deficiency of this ornithine permease. There occur hyperammonemia, hyperornithinemia, and homocitrullinemia, hyperammonemia, hyperornithinemia, and homocitrullinemia. So the common clinical presentation of this condition is that these conditions are seen in newborns and neonates. So there is increased irritability, ataxia. When given protein diet, they vomiting, and clinically it is presented as mental retardation and hyperammonemia, alkalosis, etc.